Hello, Facebook, and all those people that actually listen. I'm just going to try to share with you some information really quickly. I'll try to really make this one brief and right to the point. This is about some events that's happened in the last couple of weeks, and I've been silent on them and let everybody have their turn to speak. And it may have seemed like I was unconcerned, but actually I was following some scripture. In James 1:19, it said, "Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger." So I was practicing that, because in the book of Proverbs 17:28, it says, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." That means that they considered intelligent if they hold their tongues. Now, I don't profess to be either, but I may be in the middle somewhere. But anyhow, for the last couple of weeks, we've been hearing, especially here in Indy, about the homicide rate, and everybody's got an opinion about it. Everybody's got this thing about what should happen. Some of it's extreme, some of it's very lenient. But everybody's got an opinion, and a lot of it stemmed from, there were 4 kids got killed over on the northeast side in a robbery, apparent robbery. Well, recently they caught the 4 kids that murdered the 4 kids, and it's all kids. And there's been a lot of talk about things happening. And, you know, my mother used to say, if you sit and watch, you can learn a lot in a matter of a week or two. So I saw many things got revealed in the last few weeks. And one of the things, now, I'm going to bring up Mayor Hogsett, okay? If you know me, then you know I don't agree with a lot of things that Hogsett do. I am not a Hogsett fan, okay? But I've criticized Mayor Hogsett in a lot of instances. And in this instance, I have to praise something that he did, because he did something that actually warmed my heart. He shot down more studies. They wanted to have this council to study the homicides and the violence out in the street, as if we need to have another study on something that we already know, what's compelling people to be violent and all this other stuff. You know, they want to sit down and study and throw millions of dollars at it again, while we do nothing, you know, but study it. I say Hogsett was right. Mayor, I commend you for finally doing the right thing in my eyes. Now, I'm sure that you do a whole lot of other stuff right, but I'm just talking about in this respect, brother, you satisfied me, okay? You also been fixing the potholes too. But anyway, in the midst of that, we had the guy, he's the president of FOP here, Rick Snyder. He came out and he was speaking to the black community, pointing to the black community, asking, you know, hey, all these murders, where's the outrage from the community? Where's the outrage from the community? And I had to ask myself, okay, here's a guy who's pointing the finger at us, who's the head of the police department union, asking us, where's the outrage? I asked the same question to him. Rick Snyder, where is the outrage when your police officers murder men, innocent men in the street? I don't hear you outraged at that. I don't even see you show up at the people's funeral. We had an incident with Aaron Bailey, where it was a clear murder, because the chief of police automatically said that in light of the evidence that he had the first day, he said these men should be fired. You fought like hell for him. So don't ask us where's the outrage. Just shut the hell up and let us solve the problem. Now, I also went to a meeting, and I'm telling you, it's really messed up. This whole situation is really messed up, because we listening to people that we should never even entertain, because most of them are politicians, and politicians are not for the people these days. These are not the politicians who are for the people. We have politician, and I'll call his name, I'm not afraid. Last name is Boots. He's a councilman. Okay, and I went to a meeting where this guy paraded in his arrogance about how he supported the mayor, and he voted down this policy to set up another council for studying violence. He was at the meeting, and he made sure everybody in the room knew it. Yeah, I voted against it because I don't think it's right. Well, guess who the first speaker was at Rick Snyder's pushing for this new council? It was this Boots guy. And now he's on board with Rick Snyder, talking about that he's for the council for studying some more on what happens with this violence thing. Well, that guy's a pancake. I saw him flip in 3 days. He turned to the other side, so he's a pancake. We'll just call him a pancake, okay? And if you voted for him, you really should be ashamed of yourself, because he just showed you his true colors. But I'm trying to make this quick, because I wrote a few notes on this stuff so I don't get off track too far. That same day, right before this press conference happened, we had pastors after church getting their congregations together, and they were in support of the guy from the FOP, okay? And they were bashing the mayor, talking about that we needed to do something about the violence in the street and all this. And then they came up and they had this press conference the next day with Rick Snyder leading it from the FOP, and Boots and all these young Republican councilmen. And, you know, they had a pastor up there, Pastor Jackson from Fervent Prayer. And it went incredibly wrong for them, because they thought that they were going to come up there and they were going to make the mayor look bad for not supporting another council of do-nothings, and the people ate them up, especially the Pastor Jackson. Now, my problem with the pastors having these meetings after church to actually ignite this rage in the people is phony, okay? It's phony. If you go to one of these churches and you sat in one of those meetings, I'm telling you, that's phony. Because think about this. Those churches sit in the neighborhood. They've sat there in the same neighborhood that the violence been in. And, you know, amongst church people, they always have this saying that the church is on fire. Well, if the church is on fire and it's sitting in those neighborhoods, I'm just asking, why the hell ain't nothing else burning up in the neighborhood if the church on fire? Fire just won't just stand still in one place. That only happened in the Bible with the burning bush. It don't work like that out here, okay? The churches ain't been doing nothing. And then they want to get together and try to bash the mayor. You should bash yourself. Get a baseball bat and hit yourself upside the head, because you sitting right in the midst of the violence, and then you want to talk about what somebody else ain't doing. No, you ain't doing nothing, okay? And let's deal with this Rick Snyder thing. I just want you to understand the motivation of Rick Snyder. Rick Snyder is the president of the FOP in Indianapolis. Rick Snyder's motivation is to be the president of the FOP nationally. Okay, that's why he's pushing so much. Check it out. The pastors have an agenda, because, you know, every year the city hands out money for people to go and deal with the violence in these neighborhoods. And you got, like everybody knows, the 10-Point Coalition goes out into the neighborhoods and they walk and pray. Well, I've never seen them stop and bring resources or anything. Most of the time they walking through the neighborhood, and what they praying about is probably, I hope these people don't jump me. I hope nothing bad happens. They praying for themselves. They ain't praying for the community, because they don't stop and they don't ask people, hey, you need prayer for something. What is it that you actually need? I never see that kind of correspondence from 10-Point, okay? And also they get paid to walk, okay? Because they just had a discussion over in McDonald's at 38th and Post, where people were complaining about not being paid by 10-Point. Okay, all that's about money. All that's about money. The city distributes money to these groups. They go out and they do nothing. Okay? And this is what God says about what's happening right now with this prayer to the community thing. Okay, I believe in prayer. I'm an ordained minister since 2006. Okay, I believe in prayer. I believe in God. But God himself says that if you have what your brother needs, and you pray for him and send him away, you've done nothing. That's God saying that the most powerful weapon I've given you, you've relegated it useless. Okay? That's like having a gun with no bullets. The city gives money. The driving force behind poverty, okay, in order to be considered poor, that means that you don't have money. You can't do the common things. Okay, you don't have a lot of times the common essentials of life. That's poverty. Okay, the economy drives that. When people have no economy, they consider poor. Okay, so now you get some money from the city and you choose to pay people to walk through the places where poor people are, instead of maybe buying a bag of apples even and taking them out into the community. You won't even do that. You know, people are hungry in the community, but you walk through and you pray. People can't eat prayer. People can't pay their bills with prayer. Okay? We just want to understand that. And I'm going to summarize this like this. And I hope that people don't get offended that I'm drawing a color line on this. But I just want to do this so people will understand where I'm coming from. Okay? Blacks, we're okay with sitting down, talking about an issue. This has been our past history. We'll talk about an issue until we blue in the face, and then we'll turn another color because we got some more words to talk about, right? And we will march and we will not do a whole lot. But let's be realistic. When it comes down to white people, okay, we can take an example from them. That we had an opioid epidemic in this city. Whites went out and they started with the judicial system. They made sure that their kids weren't going to be prosecuted. They then turned around and put their money where their mouth was. They created recovery centers. They came in and got the legislators to bring in Narcan and all this. They did something about it. They didn't solve the problem, but they took some action while the problem existed. We sit up and we say, oh, wow, they're murdering out in the streets. And then guess what? We go to bed and we get up the next day. We ain't done nothing that whole day to try to even stave off the violence. We don't talk to our kids. We don't do anything. So really, none of those people that I'm talking about are going to fix this problem. We got to collectively come together and get real about it. We have the power and authority to fix whatever's wrong with us. And we don't really need a whole lot of help from outside, even though help is essential from those that are real. And get the phonies out of there, black or white. Get the phonies out of the equation. Let's start to work on this problem, and we work on it together. We can create a coalition that will deal with this thing block by block, person by person. Talk to you next time.